Hey, what's going on, everyone? Josh here with Piano Marvel, and today I'm super excited to be showing you how I would slice music in Piano Marvel. Now, uh, let me just demonstrate. I have this piece here I just made. It's the famous, world famous "Mary Had a Little Lamb," and as you can see, it is 16 measures long. It starts off with this 8-bar section in major, and then it goes to minor. Now, it doesn't matter for you to hear this whole piece, but I think it's important when you're slicing to have a good idea of what you're slicing, to have a map in your mind, have a plan in your mind, okay? Now, there's definitely, I know for myself personally, I've been experimenting with slicing stuff, in a different way, depending on how hard the music is and how well I want to learn it. But I'm going to show you today the standard way that Piano Marvel slices music so that you all can get in and slicing music so that you can start learning as fast as possible and also use the same strategies that we use at Piano Marvel to slice quickly and effectively. So let's jump into it. So we got this piece. I just exported the MIDI and the XML and I uploaded it over here. And if you don't know how to do this, there's videos on it. I'm not going to go into it now, but what you need to do after you upload the piece is click on this create or edit practice mode, okay? And where you need to start is the chopped section. Don't even worry about Minced. I'm sure if you've used Piano Marvel a little while, you know what Minced is, but don't worry about Minced yet. Worry about chopped. And in chopped, you need to know, what is your plan for this piece? Well, my plan and the normal Piano Marvel plan, what Piano Marvel will do is kind of 4-bar sections, and then maybe like a recap for 8 bars. So let's just get into it, and it'll all make sense. You're gonna go. This is what we always do for pieces like this. We go number 1, measures 1 to 4, and then you can just pick some speeds. Maybe. And I find personally, the speeds I usually pick aren't good until I get into slicing, until I get into actually playing it. And then I realize, okay, it needs to be a little faster or a little slower. I just uploaded a piece yesterday, and I think it's going to be good to show later, so I'll just show you now. But I just sliced this piece yesterday, and I almost showed it for this video, but it's kind of advanced. But there's some cool stuff that I'll show you here later. But the strategies that I'm using, that I'm showing you here for this Mary Had a Little Lamb, this simpler piece, is the same strategies pretty much that I'm using. Again, I mentioned I'm using some more advanced stuff, but the idea is there, and you can get creative as you want with it later on. But let's just jump into it. So this piece, it has, 16 measures, okay? So if this is something you need to learn with slicing, how I'd slice it, like I said, it's going to be usually 4-bar sections, okay? Now, this is the trickiest part of this whole thing. So if you've been thinking, hey, this guy's rambling, make sure you listen to this, okay? This is super, super important, okay? Whether you're doing 2-bar sections because you're learning, a crazy hard Bach convention, whether you're doing 2-bar sections like this, or whether you're doing Mary Had a Little Lamb, whenever you're learning 4 measures or 2 measures or whatever, I don't just end it right here at the end of measure 4 or right here at the end of measure 2. The slicing you see here for this advanced piece goes right here. All the slicings do that. Whether I'm doing 2-bar sections, 4-bar sections, 8-bar sections, it always goes to the next measure. And the reason why, the fancy word is pedagogy, okay? If you are so pedagogy is the art of teaching piano, loosely. And what a piano teacher does when they tell you to learn pieces like this, and what we're trying to reinforce with Piano Marvel, is to be able to learn these connecting spots. If you learn how to play measures 1 to 2 right here, and then measures 3 to 4 right here, there's a gap right here between these 2 notes. And it can be hard, depending on the piece, obviously. It can be hard. And so because it's better for you pedagogically, and also it's easier when you're slicing music, which I'm about to demonstrate. So if you're learning measures 1 to 4, all you have to know is I'm going to do measure 1.1 to measure 5. Just don't worry about 4 to go to the next measure. If it's there in the piece, which I'll demonstrate later, just go to the next measure and say 0.1. Okay? It's that simple. So let me just get into here and show you how quickly you can kind of move through this. Measures 5 through 8. We'll do 5-1, 9-1. Okay, now at this point, Piano Marvel might do Number 3 is measures 1 to 8. Okay? So I'll just do that because, Piano Marvel sometimes does like little review sections. So then we'll go on to number 4, which is measures 9 through 12. And so obviously 9, 1, 13, 1. Okay? And then we need to just finish this off real quick. So we'll go 5 is measures 13 through 16. Now this is the tricky little part because there's not a measure 17 in this piece. So where do we go to in measure 16? Oh, this isn't the piece. Well, in this piece, and I need to look at this in Piano Marvel, so let's actually just go open this up real quick because I want to show you how to count the tick system, and not with this really hard Bach convention. I want to show you with this really easy Mary Had a Little Lamb, okay? So if you ever wanted to see, what ticks do you have selected, if you go like this, and you say, this is what I want to learn, you go down here to the mixer, and you're going to see measure 13, 1, measure 16, 1. These points, which I just said ticks, but ticks and points are synonyms. They're the same thing in the Piano Marvel world. Points are just spots along this, what's called grand staff. So this is a grand staff, this stave right here. Anytime that you see a note or a rest, that's a tick, okay? So there's 4 ticks in this measure. There's 1, 2, 3 ticks in this measure. There's only 1 tick, really, in this measure right here. Okay, now let's just go back real quick to see if you've mastered the concept and to really iron this out. How many ticks are in this measure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, sorry, I need to not be zooming. 2, 3, 4. And if you wanted to see, if you did want to, and I wouldn't recommend slicing it this way, but if you did want to just slice, measure 1 to the end of measure 2, it will tell you measure 1.1, measure 2, tick 11, okay? And that would work, maybe for the end of a piece, if you didn't want to just count all these out. But you really, like I said, like I've been showing you here, you really don't need to use points all that much if you're doing the strategy that I said. And like I said, pedagogically, teaching-wise, teachers would accept this. This is a great thing to do. That's why we do it. But it's also just easier, so I don't see why everyone wouldn't want to do it. So this video is about to wrap up, but before I wrap it up, I do want to show you kind of like the most important thing. So after you make your slicings, this is measures 1 to 16. And the last slicing, as you've probably seen in Piano Marvel, we always just say measures 1 to 16 all. We just say all right at the end. And if you don't say anything here, 0, 0, 0, 0, it's just going to select all of the music. So if you want to check those slicings, we'll just go open up that piece. And you can see here, it'd probably be honestly good for me to just double check to make sure everything looks right. And I know it can take a little bit of time, but it's worth it before this next step to make sure that you haven't made any mistakes, okay? So I'm checking all my work. Measures 13 to 16, okay? It's looking correct. Measures 9 to 16. Measures 1 to 16, all. And you can see everything selected. Even though over there I didn't say any specific tick. If you leave it as zeros, it's going to do everything. So that's just a short little trick that we put in there. Now, the most important part, what if you're trying to learn hands separately, okay? And that's something that I always do when I learn a song in Piano Marvel. You can see I've started going through this piece, right hand, left hand, hands together. If you want to do that, that's why I recommend starting with chopped first, okay? Start with chopped, get everything good, and then you're going to go down here and click on duplicate chopped pieces, okay? From here, it's really simple. All you need to do to make these right and left hand sections, you don't have to do everything we were just doing. There's a shortcut, and it's right here. You see this button? It's not the duplicate. It's this button right next to it that has this little, like, split. If you click on it, it's going to say, do you want to make a right and left hand version? And you can just, however you want to split it up. What Piano Marvel would do is like the smaller sections, so the 4-bar sections, we would do right hand, left hand, hands together, and then 4-bar, right hand, left hand, hands together. And then when you have these reviews, the measures 1 to 8, the bigger reviews is going to be, you don't have to do hands separate. So experiment. Feel free to experiment. I've started doing really crazy experimentation. I probably shouldn't even show you this, but I start with measures 1 to 2. So I do 2-bar sections because this is really hard polyphonic stuff. And then I go to 4-bar sections and then 8-bar sections. And I'm always doing right hand, left hand. And I find that this is really good for me. It's probably way too overkill. But my point of showing you this is that you can slice however works best for you, okay? We want you to do what you need to learn pieces the way that you want to learn them, and Piano Marvel to just be the guide to help you to achieve your piano dreams. I hope this video was so helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. My email is josh@pianomarvel.com. Thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.